Jack D. El Daddy Turner.
He's out cold, it's over, licensed correctly. That's a good shot immediately. Now goes Martinez for the second time. And there's over 2 minutes to go in the third.
Javier, 1 million.
Earlier on in this year,
It's got to up in this third round, right? And that's a good shot, and he's going to stop him.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fight Night Live on TNT Sports from the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland. It is all being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red and Unibet. We get things started with 4 rounds scheduled, and it is an international lightweight contest. Our timekeeper is Dale Elliott, and when the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Lee Every. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing black with silver and weighed in officially at 9 stone 8 pounds. A native of Nicaragua, he is now making his home in Cordoba, Catalonia, Spain, and he is a veteran of 30 professional bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Darwin El Finito Martinez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing green with silver and officially weighed in at 9 stone 9 pounds. Hailing from Liverpool, England, he brings an undefeated record with 6 wins. All 6 wins coming by way of knockout in the very first round. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Jack D. Turner.
Boxers, please. Jack. Jack. Okay, lads, when I say stop, you stop boxing. When I say break, take a step back. Keep your hands up, protect yourself at all times. Good luck to you both. Good luck.
Well, good evening, everybody. All set here then at the SSE Arena in Belfast. And I advise you not to blink for this one. Jack D. Turner's had 6 fights, won all 6, and each of them has ended in the first round. His whole career has lasted less than 11 minutes. Good evening, Richie Woodall. How are you?
Yes, good evening, Fletch. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Very explosive indeed, Jack Turner. So let's see if he can keep up with his record of 6 first-round knockouts. See if he can get the number 7.
That is the target. He was quite open about that at the weigh-in yesterday, but he's in there with a very durable man. Darwin Martinez doesn't win too many. It took Andrew Kane 4 rounds to get him out of there when we saw him last at York Hall. He's only been stopped twice in his last 19 fights and 4 times in 30 overall. So there is the possibility for the man in the green sparkly trunks to at least get some minutes in the ring tonight, but you never know.
Yes, he's up against a much tougher opponent, isn't he? So he may have to work a little bit harder, but nevertheless, he's a natural puncher, Jack Turner. He starts very quickly, and you can see from the body language of Martinez, he's just staying on that back foot, just trying to stay out of the way of those big shots. But he's an exciting kid, Turner. I really like him.
Yeah, 22 years of age. He's from Liverpool. He's got Joe McNally in the corner. He's listed as Jack D. Turner because there's another Jack Turner on the bill tonight. So based on the fact we've got the 2 licensed boxers, that's why the D is in the middle of Jack Turner's name.
Turner there just moving into range, but he actually got caught with a good shot himself, so his chin was up in the air a little bit, so he's got to address that, get that chin down. But that wasn't a bad shot from Martinez.
Martinez just able to land that jab As endurable has been. Took Andrew Kane a little while to catch up with him, but that's the first power shot landed there tonight from Jack D. Turner.
Yeah, good shot there from Turner. That's what he's got to try and do. He's got to try and make his opponent here, Martinez, come forward and then try and catch him. Martinez has boxed quite clever on the outside up to now, and that's why it's probably been a little bit more difficult to land that big shot on him. But if you can get him to come forward over that front foot and then connect with a big punch like that one there, just needs him to come forward as he's throwing that sort of shot, and that's when he could cause some real problems.
Well, he's got half a minute to maintain this streak of stopping every opponent that he faces in the first round. It has to end at some stage. Can't do that forever. As the opposition gets more difficult, the ability to stop them will become more difficult as well. Body shot from Martinez, and then Turner just made him pay with the right hand on the way out. Final few seconds. Oh, and he's down.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You okay?
Well, he manages to hear the bell, but he was down in the first round, so he's maintained a sequence of sorts, and he caught him with an absolute beauty right at the end of the round. Let's have a look at it, Richie. It was a really, really fast shot that put him down.
Lovely, wasn't it? 1-2, right hand especially, bang on the button as Martinez is just coming forward slightly. That was a peach of a shot. What a great punch that was. If that would have happened earlier on in the round, then he might have actually got the stoppage there. But yeah, tremendous stuff.
And he swings, he leaves himself up for the counter. Okay? So keep the speed. Go down the system. Don't get greedy with him. Just box. Okay? Same again. He wants to get shot. Keep the defense good.
Quarter, 10 seconds.
It shows when he's on the front.
Seconds out. Round 2.
I'm not sure whether you could hear what Joe McNally was saying between rounds, because they turned the music up to a ridiculous level while they were sitting down, the boxers. But he did get him on the canvas in the first round, and we'll see whether Jack D. Turner can get this over and done with in the second. The first time he's been this far as a professional, and he's added another 3 minutes to the 11 minutes that we've seen of ring time that he's had in there since he turned pro.
Yeah, that really was an excellent shot there, a good 1-2. And again, you see, he's setting Martinez up now as he's coming forward. Good stuff from Turner, just on the outside. Martinez has just got to watch what he's doing here, Fletch, as he's creeping forward slowly. He's quite slow on those feet, he's very flat-footed, and that's why Turner is now starting to set him up with these shots as he's coming forward. Yeah, some good stuff.
He's certainly got Martinez's respect now. He knows the power is genuine and in there. And the confidence will be flowing through the Liverpudlian Jack D. Turner. It's the right hand that does the damage, and when he lets it go, Richie, it's on you in a flash.
Yeah, some good stuff. I mean, again, look at that. Superb 1-2 there. Right hand, especially, the one that got through. And yeah, he's showing good variation, isn't he, Turner? Because he's not only, he can punch with good hooks, he's got great straight shots as well. So yeah, I like the look of him.
We can't emphasise enough that this is a durable man in there. 31st fight for the Nicaraguan Martinez. Only been stopped 4 times, and he's only been stopped twice in his last 19. So he is a man that tends to give prospects rounds, even though he doesn't win too many fights. But it doesn't look as though he's going to last much longer in there against Turner.
Well, you can't make mistakes like that, what he just did there. It was a sloppy shot downstairs, the right hand to the body, and that's all. Look at that for a shot there. That's all Turner needs. If it's a slow punch, then he's going to come back with those fast counters.
Every time he lands the right hand, it's doing damage right now to Martinez. Excellent work in the second round with a little bit less than a minute to go from Jack D. Turner. And I think he can sense that he's moving towards the stage of the fight where he can finish things off in there.
I think Martinez now, Fletch, he's really wary of what he's going to do, because he seems to be getting punished now for every sort of mistake he's making. But the slow feet, there's not much head work there. The way he's walking forward very slowly, it's a bit of a sitting duck, if anything, and Turner is finding those quality shots. And they're just switching to the body, and then that switch of attack from body to head, that was impressive.
Yeah, left hand this time that did the damage from Turner, who says he's a big fan of Gennady Golovkin, who could punch as well. And he's looking to land those shots that sicken Martinez when he connects with them. But he is going to survive another round, and there's the bell to end the second.
What? Listen to me. Stop getting caught in wild swings. You're looking very good, some boxing, okay? This is all I'm after. Taking them to pieces to keep them punch while giving a chance, okay? Don't let him, don't let him close the gap. Keep on your toes.
Welcome back to the SSE Arena in Belfast, and there's just a bit of damage under the right eye of Jack D. Turner. That's what they're working on. And while you're away, Joe McNally was saying to him, look, stop getting caught when you come in. Don't be sloppy. Stop leaving yourself open and being reckless.
Second judge, entry.
I think, Fletcher, it was good advice there from Joe McNally. He sees that Turner is a little bit reckless here and there. He really goes for it, though, doesn't he, with the shots that he throws. But it just, it's a good contest, this, because Martinez, you know, he's not a pushover, and he has got through with some dangerous punches of his own. And that's the danger position you're in when you're a big puncher like Turner, because you're in that mid sort of section where mid-power punching, you're there to be hit as well. So you've got to think about, you've got to have one eye on the defence, the defensive aspect of things as also, because he's been caught with a couple of shots, and that eye damage shows that.
That's a good shot. Down goes Martinez for the second time, and there's over 2 minutes to go in the third.
6, 7, 8. You okay? You sure? You sure?
Lee Every checking that he's okay and he wants to carry on. And you wonder, with all of this time left in the round, whether Jack D. Turner can finish things off here.
Well, that was great how he just started there with that jab, just a simple jab, bang on the button. And again, just keep peppering him with the jab and opening him up, and then go for the big one. But he's got to listen to his corner a little bit. He's confident now, look, switching from orthodox to southpaw. So he's really showing confidence, but he's just got to listen to his corner, just break him down with those jabs and the boxing, and then move in with the bigger punch.
Martinez looking more and more open the longer the contest goes on. This is scheduled for 4 at lightweight. It was a bit of an up and down week in terms of who Turner was going to be fighting. Originally Martinez, then it switched to Gerson Larios, a Spaniard, and then late yesterday Martinez reinstated as the opponent. So he's in there. Whether he's enjoying it too much against this powerful punching 22-year-old from Liverpool, I'm not so sure. And he continues to let the punches go. Minute to go in the third. Martinez down twice already in the contest.
Yeah, see, listening to Turner's corner again there, just shouting, throw the jab. Because in these situations, when the opponent's a bit reluctant to come forward, you've got to make him come forward, Fletch. And you do that by just outboxing him with the jab, peppering him with that shot, and then make him come over that front foot. That's what you have to do, just draw him out of that shell a little bit.
Quite a bit of bruising under the eye of Turner, who's caught again there by Martinez, who, when the opportunity does appear, he's happy to let his hands go. He'll be learning an awful lot in there. It's all right blowing everybody away. 6 fights, 6 first-round stoppages, 11 minutes of work, but the rounds he's getting tonight, invaluable to him, Rich.
Yeah, it is invaluable indeed. This kid's no mug in front of him, and he's enjoying it, but he's just got to watch what he's doing. But like I say, I'd just like to see him get back to his boxing a little bit more.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, this is the best of luck, son. Very, yeah, very good. But look,
You're boxing great.
the end of the round. You're going reckless, nothing. Caught 1 or 2, you don't need to. You're boxing beautiful. Keep working that jab. Double the attacks, but stay small and just keep the speed and combinations, Jack, okay? It's the counter punches that are catching him. Don't give him the own run. He'll test you a little bit.
Back to Belfast. Let's have a look at some of the action from the third round, Richie.
Yeah, that was a shot that seemed to be sort of the back of the head. Or, let's have a look from this angle. Yeah, sort of the back of the head, wasn't it, that punch there? But still, Martinez goes down. He's boxing fairly well, I think, Fletch.
Yeah, the man doing the work on his eye is a man you know very well, Russ Amber in the corner.
Yeah, my friend Russ, head of Rival Boxing Equipment, and a great man indeed. Best hand rapper in the business.
So the last round, can Jack D. Turner get another stoppage against this durable man from Nicaragua, Darwin Martinez, who was down in the first, down in the third. Turner, though, can't stop him to this point. One thing that was interesting while we were taking that short break is that Joe McNally said to him between rounds, this is the best you've looked.
Yeah.
So I think they're quite happy with what they've seen in the main tonight. Really good left hand through the guard of Martinez. When he does turn it on, Turner, he's far too good for his opponent.
Yeah, he's got a lot of variety, hasn't he? He just changed his footwork there. He just slipped, sorry, he just sidestepped to the right and then came back and then threw the punch at a different angle. So, yeah, he's experimenting with things and enjoying the contest. And like I say, set it all up behind that simple jab of his. And what I like about this contest, Fletch, is you know, he's in with a fairly, I think, dangerous puncher himself, Martinez. You know, he's no slouch, and he carries a fair whack himself.
I suspect it's going to be quite an atmosphere inside this arena a little bit later on. We're looking forward to see Yadier Herrera, the young Cuban. He's on the bill. He's a really talented fighter. T.S. O'Leary against Darragh Foley, the Dublin derby, and then Conor Quinn against Conor Kelso on the top of the bill here at the SSE Arena as Turner tries to go through the gears again with a bit more than a minute to go in the contest.
Yeah, change of pace there. Just going through the gears a little bit. Really got caught there himself, though. So he's still dangerous, Martinez. That's why more work is needed behind his boxing, Turner here, just to break him down a little bit.
You can see why he gets so much work as well, can't you, Martinez? He fights often, doesn't win many, but he always gives full value, and he's given a prospect like Turner a workout tonight. 4 good rounds. He's been down, he's taken shots, but he's still there with 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, he's a tough opponent indeed, and I think there's a bit of damage now to that eye. There's a little bit of a mouse, isn't there, underneath the right eye of Jack Turner, and there's just a little bit of blood from it also. So, you know, Turner's in a fight here.
The damage is significantly worsened underneath that right eye of Jack D. Turner.
Because a lot of the time, Fletch, he's in punching range, that mid-range where he wants to throw those power shots, but occasionally he gets caught himself. Look at this, got caught again there with that left hook.
Got caught with a couple of shots, didn't he? And he stood there and he said to Martinez, come on then, let's have it. But I don't think Joe McNally in his corner is going to be too happy by that. He's going to be happy with the win. They'll be happy to get 4 rounds in the bank, smiles in the corner. But he doesn't want to do that too often and stand and trade in situations like that. That's a learning curve for him.
You know what, Fletch, he's probably learned more from this fight than he has the whole of his other fights, the other 6 first-round knockouts that he had. This one, for me, will really keep him in good, serve him in good stead. He's learned a lot from here. He's hit the opponent with several big punches. He hasn't gone away. He's come back, got caught himself. So there's still work to do in the gym, but his coach will be pleased. He's got 6 rounds under his belt. Yes, it's a big plus tonight, and we know he can box better than that as well.
Well, let's have a look at the action at the end of the round. It got very, very spicy with about 10 seconds to go. It all started kicking off in there. 2 really good shots landed by Martinez.
Yeah, standing toe-to-toe there and really having a go. Both boxers, and that's entertaining for the fans also. So overall, quite a good night for Turner.
And I suppose when you've had 6 first-round stoppages, at least he knows you can take a shot now, because he just had to take one.
Yeah, I think he's had to take several. in this contest, and you know, I think it's been a good night for him, to be quite honest. It's a tough opponent.
So we're just waiting for Russ Amber to finish his work, and Jack D. Turner can move to join Lee Every and Darwin Martinez in centre ring, and we can get the result for the first time tonight from MC Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, our referee in charge, Lee Every, scores this contest 40-34 for your winner, and still undefeated, Jack D. Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it is an international super featherweight contest. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red and Unibet. Timekeeper is Dale Elliott, and when the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Mark Bates. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing black trunks and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 7 pounds. Coming to us from Tumaco, Colombia, he brings a professional record of 11 wins, just 1 defeat, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andres Navarrete. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing pink with purple and black and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 8 pounds. A native of Camagüey, Cuba, he is now fighting out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and brings an undefeated record with 14 wins, 12 of his 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Javier Herrera.
Gentlemen, when I tell you to break, you take a step back immediately. Keep your punches up. Keep your punches up, obey my commands, and protect yourselves at all times. Good luck, gentlemen. Touch gloves. Behave.
So Navarrete wanted to talk, final face-off, but it's time for the Cuban puncher, Javier Herrera. 14 straight wins, 12 stoppages, all at the age of 21. There's excitement around him, and as he did his ring walk, Joe McNally was stood right above our commentary position, and he looked down to you and said, "You're going to enjoy him, Richie."
Yeah, he did indeed. And I think he thinks he's a special talent. Let's see. But Joe McNally certainly knows his boxing.
He certainly looks the part in the multi-purple trunks with the tassels. Andres Navarrete, 27, 111 of 12, and he certainly cut a confident figure as he made his ring walk, and the introductions were being given out by Thomas Treiber, so we'll see whether reality sets in against Herrera. There's a buzz around him, he's heavy-handed, he's done everything right to this point, and now we get to see him for the first time here on TNT Sports this evening.
Navarrete being a little bit ambitious coming forward and trying to lead with the backhand. You've got to watch what he's doing there, he'll walk onto a shot. But nevertheless, I think he was just trying to make a bit of a statement to Herrera that he's not going to be a pushover, but it could be his undoing. If he comes forward swinging like that, he's going to get caught again there. He wasn't too far away with his own shot, but if he misses the target, you won't get away with those type of mistakes against this kid.
Good long left hand. He's the naturally bigger super featherweight, isn't he? Just on looks alone, Herrera stopped his last 6 opponents. Franklin Manzanilla lasting the longest when he made it to round 5 back in 2022, so he's on a bit of a run. And he was very, very confident at the weigh-in yesterday, confident when he stepped in between the ropes here in Belfast tonight. And looking to continue this stoppage streak that he's on at the moment and make a statement in the process. It's quite appropriate that we've got this one at super featherweight just after we've heard from Anthony Kakachi, the IBF champion at this weight, of course.
Yeah, there was an example there of Navarrete making a mistake trying to throw that backhand, missing the target, and he got punished there. Herrera caught him with a super left-hand counter, setting everything up again behind his jab. You can see, you know, he comes from that Cuban school of boxing, if you like, and they're all well schooled, aren't they? They're very, very skillful fighters from. Look at that for a shot. That was perfection of a counter, that was.
Mistake by Navarrete, and immediately made to pay with a good stiff shot from Herrera.
Like we said earlier, Fletch, Navarrete, because he's trying to lead off with his backhand. That, this thing again there, he just got away with it, but you can't afford to do that against such a quality opponent, an accurate puncher like Herrera.
Doesn't want to spend too much time with his back to the ropes either against Herrera. 30 seconds to go in the first. This one's scheduled for 8 at super featherweight. And that's a good shot, and he's going to stop him. Well, he stopped on his feet. That shot took everything out of Navarrete, and well done to Mark Bates for stopping it and jumping straight in. That's a brilliant stoppage, because he could have got seriously hurt and the referee not spotted that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was brilliant by the referee there, because he saved that lad from getting a real good idea, and another good shot, and he'd have been completely knocked out. He was stunned and stopped on his feet from that shot from Herrera, so the referee there, that was spot on.
Yeah, full credit to Mark Bates, and full credit as well to Herrera, who's delighted with his night's work. It didn't last very long. He stopped another one, and he did that very, very straightforwardly here tonight.
You can see his quality, can't you? He's working with his jab. He comes from that, has got that Cuban background. He would have had lots and lots of amateur contests. So look at the finish here. There's a shot there, good shot, and then one there. Look at that, and he's out on his feet here. He's out on his feet. The referee jumps in. That's a great decision there by the referee. Let's have a look at it here. This one just skims the target. That's the one. That's the shot on the point of the chin. And he's gone. He's out on his feet here, and one just misses. But the referee there, that was excellent timing there to jump in.
Yeah, that's the 4th first-round stoppage of Herrera's career. 7 stoppages in a row. Brilliant work by Mark Bates. He's been with Joe McNally now for 15 months. The 4th fight together tonight. Everybody's excited about him. And that's what he turned up like tonight, with the balaclava, billion on the back. And he's a man with a very, very bright future. Kiss from the trainer, hug from Joe McNally. Satisfactory night's work here in Belfast. Impressive stuff from the 21-year-old Cuban, Hadier Herrera. Let's get confirmation of a stoppage victory from Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 41 seconds of round number 1. Our referee in charge, Mark Bates, steps in to stop the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout and still undefeated, Hadier Herrera. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 6 rounds, and it is an international bantamweight contest. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riyadh Season, 32 Red, and Unibet. Timekeeper is Phil Morris, and when the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Mark Lyson. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing black and gold and weighed in officially at 8 stone 6 pounds. Coming to us from Cordoba, Argentina, he brings a professional record consisting of 5 wins, 6 defeats, 1 draw, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gonzalo El Polaco Corinaldesi. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with orange and weighed in officially at 8 stone 8 pounds. Undefeated, he has 8 wins, 7 of his 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from right here, Liverpool, here is Jack D. Turner.
Okay, boys, you both know the rules. Want you to obey my commands. Tell you to break clean. Defend yourselves all times, boys. Good luck to you both.
Mark Lyson takes charge, so not just tonight here in Liverpool, the story of the increasingly admired Everton Red Triangle. Jack D. Turner, who came out of the Croxteth Amateur Boxing Club, with Joe McAnally in his corner, and a lot of interest and excitement building around his young career at Bantamweight. In tonight against Gonzalo Coronaldese from Argentina. Countless times over the years, Richie, and Argentina has been brought in to give a prospect some hard rounds. Can you see any deviation to that plan, at least tonight?
I think it'll be a good opponent when he's never been stopped, so that's going to be a challenge for Jack Turner, who has got a terrific knockout record, hasn't he? I mean, eight wins and 7 knockouts. But here he's in against a tough Argentinian, never been stopped. He's had a few defeats, 6 in fact, out of the 12 contests that he's had, but he's never been stopped, Paul. So that, you know, that's going to be a tough challenge for Jack Turner. Just got to concentrate, hasn't he, and just let his boxing flow. And people are expecting big things of him because he is a big puncher. And again, letting the shots go, because that's not bad. And Coronaldese doesn't want to be on those ropes and gets caught there.
He's a big kid all round, Richie, and he weighed 8 stone 10 pounds last time, I understand. And again, in terms of being hand-picked, in the case of Coronaldese, it's almost like he gets given a job, 4 weeks' notice, and they target, right, will we be, what, 8'6" if we need to be for that. His weight has really gone up and down, almost to order, over the last few years. Turner unleashes a few.
Yeah, good left hook to the body there from Turner, and he's looking for it again. And Coronaldese then certainly felt it, and again he's in a bad position on the ropes. For the feet come square, he becomes open downstairs, and Turner certainly took advantage there.
Coronaldese gives himself a bit more room, or so he hopes. Turner was able to walk him down and set himself to deliver another big barrage. This is impressive work again, early from Jack D. Turner. Doesn't waste much time, gets down to it. And if you give him a bit of a room, Richie, that's all the encouragement he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the job has been made a little bit easier for Turner here, because Coronaldese has just been, he just allowed himself to drift onto the ropes and then hold his feet, which is a bad position. He's got to keep moving and get through this first round storm, if you like, from Turner, who's really going for it, Paul.
Impressively, he can't get away out of any of these shots. Coronaldese grabs on, tries to breathe in if he can. He was looking at the canvas, very nearly felt for it.
Turner again sensibly just using that jab occasionally. And just closing that gap down there as the jab. See, then he moves in, landing the bigger shots. But Coronaldese again holds his feet, gets caught.
Left hand. He's out cold, it's over. Lyson correctly has called it off immediately. Coronaldese slumps to the canvas. The medics are on their way over to him. Somebody needs to tell Jack Turner just to calm it down a little bit. They're now doing exactly that.
Well, what a shot that was. The left hand that went in there. It was a very good performance from Jack Turner indeed, on that front foot right from the word go, targeting the body. Coronaldese again and again just got caught on the ropes, and then that allowed Turner to work that body, and he catches him right at the very end. I think it might have been even a lead left uppercut or a left hook. It was a super shot indeed that finished the job off, and let's just hope that Coronaldese is going to make a full recovery here. But yes, a terrific performance from this fella here. Very impressive indeed, very explosive. Yeah, that was a good performance indeed, Paul.
I think Jack D. Turner now realises that it's not appropriate to be jumping around the ring, however understandable that release of emotion would be. The concern at the moment is for Coronaldese, but they have lifted him very gently onto his stool. He seems to be responding to the questioning from the medics.
The way he worked the body forth was really, really impressive, and very often, I mean, this guy's never been stopped, remember, and he looked a tough cookie indeed, Coronel Daisy, but these body shots took their toll on him and probably slowed his feet down a little bit more, and then he just held his feet again on the ropes. It's a bad position to be in. It's very often a fighter's feet then will come square, and then the body becomes much more of a bigger target to hit, and Jack Turner certainly then did the business with those body shots and then finished him off with a terrific lead left uppercut, we think it was. It's actually hard to see from our point, Paul. I couldn't actually see the shot. It was sort of, his back was to us, wasn't it? But it was a terrific punch that landed at the end.
I think it was really two attacks in one, Richie, wasn't it? He went downstairs and then upstairs.
Yeah.
Devastating knockout shot. I think people are relaxing in the ring. Coronel Daisy's got a little smile.
Yeah, he's okay. That's the main thing. The lad's okay. Let's
So
have a look at
now
it here.
A look at the finish.
So there's a body shot.
Body.
Yeah, so it's a lead left uppercut that went in there. But Coronel Daisy just stays on the ropes. See, well, that wasn't a bad shot himself. He tries to land an uppercut himself, but gets caught with a lead uppercut from Turner. It's a super shot. Let's have a look at it from this angle. There's the right uppercut from Coronel Daisy, and look at that for a shot. A sweeping punch, lead left uppercut. What a shot that was from this fella. Yes, very impressive indeed.
The latest in an increasingly long line of very talented fighters now coming out of Liverpool, full of belief. They know what they're about. What I'm loving about all these kids, Richie, is the absence of show. It's all about the dough. It's all about doing it the right way. And obviously from the Stevenson school, that's a big part of it. But it seems that with Joe McNally and the kids that he's got, it's the same.
Yeah, tremendous. They've both got terrific camps, haven't they? And whatever they're doing it right, aren't they? And they're teaching their boxers good skills, and they're putting the power punches together also. So very impressive indeed from everyone at the moment from Liverpool.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes 47 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by way of knockout and still undefeated, Jack D. Herrera Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with 10 rounds scheduled, and it will be for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Championship. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riot Season, 32 Red, and Unibet. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control Area Representative Ian Metcalf, along with the World Boxing Association. President Gilberto Mendoza Jr., Supervisor Dr. Nina Radcliffe, Timekeeper Chris O'Connor. Our 3 judges assigned will be Jean Robert Lane of Monaco, Gloria Martinez of the United States, and Bob Williams of England. Our referee in charge will be Steve Gray of England. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing blue with white and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 8 pounds. Coming to us from León, Nicaragua, he brings a professional record consisting of 31 wins, 5 defeats, 2 draws, with 20 of his 31 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Oliver Trombita Flores. And his opponent across the ring in this championship contest, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing orange and black and weighed in the same as his opponent, 9 stone, 8 pounds. a native of Camagüey, Cuba. He is now fighting out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and is undefeated with 15 wins. 13 of his 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting, undefeated, former WBC international champion, Javier 1 billion Herrera.
Se diga ao Blake, passa atrás, dou golpes, ela pode, ok, atrás da cabeça, ok? Toquem guantes.
Referee Steve Gray, a man of many parts, in charge. All week in Liverpool, a little buzz in the boxing gyms, a lot of whispering and pointing at the weigh-in yesterday. Javier Herrera is in town, he's created huge interest. Could he be the next big thing from Cuba? And we're better than Liverpool to find out. Dick Tiger and Hogan Kid Bassi sent on their way from Liverpool.
Round one.
So the southpaw grabs the centre of the ring, but he's up against like for like, style-wise, in Oliver Flores. Top-class potential out of one corner, Richie. A long-time top operator in Flores out of the other, however.
Indeed, you have someone very experienced in Flores. And Herrera, yeah, he's the new kid on the block, so to speak. Lots of talent, lots of skill. Originally from Cuba, and will have come through that Cuban system. So yes, a lot of skill here in Herrera. But he's in against an experienced man who's lost to 3 former world champions, so he fought at world level against former world champions, and he's experienced, so this is a test for Herrera.
Flores fighting the best as long ago as 2015, when he challenged for the WBA World Super Featherweight title in Tokyo, one of only 2 inside the distance defeats, and the other man to beat him inside, Miguel Berchelt of Mexico, who went on to become a world champion. A very fine career it has been, but if a little haphazard over the last 2 to 3 years. 33 now, and the 22-year-old Herrera, he stepped over every stepping stone so far. 6 wins inside 3 rounds, but this is a good start for me from Flores, Richie.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, is it? One of the problems that Flores has got, though, Paul, is that left hand of his is very, very low, so he's probably open if Herrera can get close enough to land his right hook. And that's the shot that he'll have to watch out for here, Flores. When he comes in close, he just drops that backhand of his, that left hand, and that's a dangerous thing to do. But nevertheless, it's a fairly decent start from a more experienced man, Flores.
Complete absence of panic, certainly, from Flores. When a kid starts to build a reputation as quickly as Herrera has done, the pressure can really come up even before the first bell comes. Not so in the case of Flores, so Herrera with due measure for his respect after a little bit of toing and froing at the weigh-in yesterday. Herrera's been pretty businesslike.
What's important in this first round, Paul, is for Herrera just to establish his jab. You see Flores, the way he's boxing, he's bobbing and weaving, and he's coming at different angles and just making things awkward. He's not a static target. See how he dips down here and there. So what Herrera's got to do is just establish that jab. There you go, simple shot. It just measures the distance, and then he can set up his bigger punches.
Snap left was a good scoring shot. Some really good combinations in the last couple of seconds of the round from Herrera. Classy work.
Left. This left hand's going to come off all night, but you've got to time it better. Okay?
hay que hacerlo en el tiempo perfecto, ¿vale?
Don't be drifting onto his over and left. That's all she's looking for.
Dos piches a la derecha, a su izquierda. Y solo quiere
You gotta
buscar.
get the jab back out.
Welcome back, everybody. Joe McNally is in charge in the Herrera corner. Just on the other side of the rope from that position, there's Anthony Kakache at ringside tonight after his latest big victory. Southpaw Academy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Nightmares, the old Southpaws, but here we have two different styles, but Flores again, sort of that bobbing, weaving, sort of occasionally just throws shots from a crouched position and just makes things awkward. And Herrera has just got to establish his jab and just find his range. You see, that's a better shot there from him.
He should be outreaching his man quite comfortably, Richie. Herrera is 5'9" to 5'7", Flores.
Yes, Herrera's got the height and reach, hasn't he? But he's just neglected his jab up to now, but now he's starting to use it a little bit better. Like I said, he's in with an experienced boxer here. He's had one world title fight and he's fought 2 or 3 4 world champions. Lands a decent shot there. So he's no mug, Flores.
Also, he does have a little bit of a dig himself. 20 of his 31 victories by stoppage. Maybe Herrera's not fought too many with that kind of ratio. This is fight number 16 for Herrera. He turned pro, having, if I might use the term politely, escaped the amateur scene in Cuba by whatever means, turning pro, which most of them don't get the opportunity to do at that age particularly.
No.
And he's 22 now, largely been campaigning in Dubai.
Got to get that jab right. See, it was a bit of a sloppy jab there from Herrera, and Flores came back with that left hand. If you look at Flores' feet, though, Paul, very, very flat-footed he is. So he prefers, he'd probably prefer Herrera just to stand in front of him, and he won't like the movement of Herrera. Herrera's got, for me, he's got to hit and move. Any flat-footed boxer then prefers the opponent to come at them to trade. But the movement, then they struggle with because they're too flat-footed. So that's what Herrera, for me, has got to do behind that jab also. Use the movement.
The thing is, men have been, especially in the last year, Richie, his opponents have been coming to him, and after 2 or 3 rounds, he's been dispatching them.
Yeah.
So that can become a habit. You start to expect that the next one will do the same, and it's a little bit more cagey and canny here from Flores. And effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Some decent work with the lead hand there from Herrera just earlier. And again, look, simple jab. There you go. Just simple boxing that is, and measuring the distance and gap with that shot.
I know he looks the part, Herrera, but a lot of decent work from Flores again in that round.
He's making mistakes.
Él está haciendo errores.
Don't step too far
No
away.
pises demasiado lejos.
See, you're looking for the left-hand counter.
Estás buscando el
Bring it
enganche,
straight,
macho.
chum.
Pero el recto. El recto para funcionar. No buscas el enganche de esa mano. El recto.
I want you to now just a bit more activity, putting the punches together.
Un poquito más de actividad. ¿Vale?
But don't set and punch with him. Don't give him the lottery shot, okay?
No entra en
Be
una.
smart.
Welcome back, everybody. Javier Herrera's not having it all his own way in this fascinating lightweight showdown. At the top of the bill, still some time to go, and wouldn't you know it, there's Ronnie Rios backstage, and very soon it will be Nicky Ball's turn, but they're still celebrating stablemate Andrew Kane after his stellar show here earlier in Liverpool. Great crowd building up. Been a while, long time, since a really big Liverpool fight night like this.
There's that right up that we spoke about, Paul, earlier on. In this,
Herrera opens up in this third round right at the start of it. Real class about that. Rios looks in, Flores looks in all kinds of problems, and Steve Craig doesn't give him the chance to beat the count. Herrera gives thanks. He stopped him right at the start of the third round. He exploded out of the corner. He got a bit of a ticking off from Joe McAnally, and in whatever language, whatever terminology that was used, it worked like a charm.
Yeah, it certainly did. He started the round really well. We spoke about the right hook earlier in the contest, and he landed an absolute cracker at the start of the round, and then he followed it up with some good shots. But yes, that talking to from Joe McAnally, who didn't want him to stand and trade. That's what he said in the corner. Don't stand and trade with him. And so that hit and move, what we spoke about also, certainly worked. And the right hook at the start of the round was a cracking shot. It just started things off, got his range, and yeah, his timing was spot on there.
So out of nothing, it's taken away from Oliver Flores, who sits rather disconsolately on his stool while the party gets started across the ring. And apparently this kid does know how to party, but they're going to have to put a little check on that for a few years.
Yeah, he's enjoying the moment, isn't he? I'll reserve judgment on that.
I think we might be seeing that again very soon, Richie. Joe McAnally has guaranteed, quote unquote, guaranteed a future world champion. Do you see that in him, Richie?
Yeah, well, you know, he's certainly got some good skills, and it'll be interesting to see how far he can go. There was the right hook that we spoke about. Then he follows up there with that cracking left hand. That really did. And then look at that left uppercut downstairs. That was into the solar plexus. You can see the pain across his face there, Oliver Flores, and he couldn't recover. And the referee looked into his eyes, didn't like what he saw. Let's have a look at the hook. There's the hook there. So that starts things off. Then there's the left hand that comes in, and what's this body shot that follows up? So there's the right and the left hand there. Then he just takes a step back, comes in. Right uppercut downstairs into the solar plexus. That really did send him to the canvas.
We say again, only 22 years of age. There's a swagger about him, and not just on fight night. Total self-belief. And in the end, Oliver Flores found out all about it after a very smart couple of rounds from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 30 seconds of round number 3. Our referee in charge, Steve Gray, waves off the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and now the WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Champion, Javier 1 billion Herrera. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it will be for the vacant WBA International Super Flyweight Championship. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors. Riyadh Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, and Unibet. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, Suzanne Potts, along with the World Boxing Association. President, Gilberto Mendoza Jr., Supervisor, Robert Mack, Timekeeper, Phil Morris. Our 3 judges assigned will be Michael Alexander of England, Pavel Cardini of Poland, and Jose Roberto Torres of Puerto Rico. Our referee in charge, third man in the ring, will be Steve Gray of England. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing red with gold and white and weighed in officially at 8 stone 2 pounds. From right here, Liverpool, England, he has a professional record of 23 wins, 5 defeats, 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former EBU European champion and former Commonwealth Super Flyweight champion, Ryan Herrera. And his opponent across the ring in this championship contest, Fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing blue and white and weighing the same as his opponent, 8 stone, 2 pounds. From right here, Liverpool, England, he is undefeated with 10 wins, 9 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting, undefeated Jack Turner.
Okay, fellas, if a call break, I expect you to take a step back. Don't deliberately throw punches to the back of the head. And protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck, lads.
So it's time for a Merseyside derby, not at Anfield or Goodison Park, but right here at the M&S Bank Arena. Unbeaten Jack Turner has breezed through the super flyweight division to this point against 37-year-old Ryan Farag, who won the European Bantamweight title back in 2015 when Turner was only 13 years old. And don't take your eyes off it, Turner's got 8 wins in the first round. I mean, you can't beat a derby, Rich, in anything, can you?
Indeed. Explosive Jack Turner, certainly early on in a contest, but he's in against a very experienced man in Ryan Farag, who knows what he's doing. And this one, interesting, youth versus experience.
So let's see whether Turner can step up in class, step up against a man who's got a lot more experience than him and still find the power. The first significant shot he lands has Farag staggering a little bit.
They just caught him with a shot there. Farag just tentative now on the outside, probably because of that shot. He's probably felt the power. When you're in against a big puncher who gets things done early in a contest, it's always best to box with caution, keep the punches nice and straight, maintain a gap between yourself and your opponent. No bent arm work at all. Just try and be cautious and play safe. We know Turner's experience. Sorry, big puncher early on.
Everybody in the arena knows exactly what Turner's intentions are, and now he's managed to get close to Farag. He's going to try and let the punches go. 10 fights, 10 wins, 9 stoppages. Fought 7 times last year, Turner, but this is the first time we've seen him since he stopped Piero Aponte here in Liverpool last December. Survival might be the first port of call for Farag early on, and then he can think about what he might do later in the fight.
Yeah, you've got to watch the heads there. That's nice work there from Farag on the outside, just moving in quickly with a couple of shots. Then goes back out to that safety distance again.
Good body shot from Turner. Every punch he throws is a hard one. He's got a minute to go to prevent Turner doing his first round special.
Oh, that's a good body shot there from Turner. Farag, tough man. He took that well. The right uppercut on the inside there, downstairs.
Turner in the white and blue, Farag in the red and gold. Oh, there's another shot that just had him staggering backwards a little bit. Final few seconds of the first, and he knows he's got the power to trouble him, and he's trapped in that corner, and he's trying to get it done here, Turner. He's going to run out of time. But there were a couple of signs there in the first round, Richie, of just how hard he hits, and Farag, if he didn't know before, he knows now.
Yes, he got caught early with the shot, did Farag. But towards the end of the round, then Turner started to find his range a little bit more. And yes, Farag knows he's in with a big puncher indeed. Let's have a look at it here. This is towards the end of the round. There's that shot rather on the inside, a bit of a hook come uppercut if you like. There it is there. That's a belting shot, it really is. And Farag's in good condition, but he needed to be to take that. This was at the end of the round. Turner really going for it, letting the hands go. Not a lot getting through, but nevertheless, very impressive going forward.
Joe McNally in Jack Turner's corner, 14 years, the junior of Ryan Farag. What you would say is Farag's now only the third man to make it to the second round with Turner, so that's some kind of achievement anyway, even though there were a couple of worrying moments in the first round for Farag. So let's see what the second round has in store for us. Turner was 8 years old when Farag turned over in 2010. Farag's fought Jason Booth and Ashley Lane back in 2014. He was European champion a year later, but he didn't fight at all between August 2019 and February 2023, and since then he's won 3 out of 4 to set up tonight. Here goes Turner again, looking to let his hands go. Oh, what a shot! What a shot! And there's the power of Jack Turner. And Ryan Farag could do nothing about that. One of those short uppercuts caught him flush on the chin, and the moment it landed, it was all over.
Incredible there, that change of pace from Turner, the accuracy with the shots, let them go, hit the target, and he just finished him off. And Farag's a tough lad, he really is, but he just couldn't withstand that power. Turner absolutely delighted, but Farag hit clean with those shots, and that's an impressive win, because this was a step up for Jack Turner, and he stepped up and he's knocked his opponent out. That's pretty impressive.
Well, the good news is that Ryan Farag is now back on his feet, and obviously the worse for wear after that powerful barrage from Jack Turner, who's now got 10 stoppages in 11 fights. He's had to go into the second round tonight, but not into the second round by much, I must say.
No, it was sort of an injection of pace, wasn't it, from Turner? He catches Farag with a shot, then he follows up and he finishes him off superbly well.
And let's make the point, Farag hasn't been stopped since June of 2016, and it's only the second time he's been stopped in his career. He's always been durable, but he could do nothing about the power of Turner.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, isn't he? He took, like I say, the shot in the earlier round to the body was a belting punch. He took it well. You can see he's in good condition, Farag, but then he just couldn't take the power, raw power from Turner. And the way he finished it off, that was impressive. He went through the gears and hit the target.
There was one shot, Rich, in the middle of the combination that caught him absolutely flush on the point of the chin. And the moment that happened, it was all over.
All over. I think that was the turning point for the referee to actually jump in. Let's have a look here. So it's a long left hook, and then he just swings away. Look, there's the shot there. Oh, what a belting shot that was.
That's the one, isn't it? Yeah. That's the one.
So there's a long left hook there that catches him, and then he gets him here. There's a shot coming up that just spins the head back. Then it is there. The referee then just jumps in. It's an impressive finish. Talk about going through the gears, catching your opponent and not letting him off the hook. There's a cracking shot there. That's straight left, but the shot's across his body here. There's another one there.
That's the one.
Yeah, and that's the one that the referee comes in. Super finish.
Well, I tell you what, Richie, people are going to want to watch him because he's got so much power. Super flyweight, you don't often see destructive punches like that, but he can wipe anybody out with one shot.
Local pride as well, remember, and yeah, he's got the bragging rights. Pretty impressive that was, Fletch.
Okay, Thomas Triber's ready. Let's get the official result.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 41 seconds of round number 2. Our referee in charge, Steve Gray, waves off the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and now the WBA International Super Flyweight Champion, Jack El Daddy Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it will be for the WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Championship. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riyadh Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, and Unibet. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge Suzanne Potts, along with the World Boxing Association, President Gilberto Mendoza Jr., Supervisor Robert Mack, Timekeeper Chris O'Connor. Our 3 judges assigned will be Pavel Cardini of Poland, Terry O'Connor of England, and Jose Roberto Torres of Puerto Rico. Our referee in charge, 3rd man in the ring, will be John Latham of England. Introducing to you first, the challenger, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black and silver and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 8 pounds. Coming to us from Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, he brings a professional record consisting of 21 wins, 3 defeats, 2 draws, 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBC Latino champion, Jose El Increíble Macias. And his opponent across the ring in this championship contest, he is the defending champion, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing silver with black and weighed in the same as his opponent, 9 stone, 8 pounds. A native of Camagüey, Cuba, he is now fighting out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and brings an undefeated record with 16 wins, 14 of those 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Champion, Javier 1 billion Herrera.
Right, lads, you're not expecting you both. You obey me instructions at all times. When I tell you to break, you both break clean. Defend yourselves at all times. Touch gloves.
So it's time for the Cuban, who's an adopted Scouser these days, Yadier Herrera. Based here in Liverpool with Joe McNally. He's been perfect so far. He's ranked number 14 by the WBA, and he's got plenty of power. He's in there with the Mexican Jose Macias. And just one word of warning would be don't take your eyes off him. He's got 7 wins inside 3 rounds. Out of his 16 wins so far, it's 14 of them are stoppage victories. He's got a big reputation, he's got a lot of talent, and he's really hoping eventually to make a big impression on this very good lightweight division.
From what I've seen of him so far, Herrera, in his career, yeah, he's been very impressive indeed. He's got that Cuban class about him, very, very skillful, talented, and he can punch, this kid. So yeah, there's a lot to like about him, Fletch. But he's in against a pretty tough nut himself here, Macias. He's only lost the 3 contests, and they've all been on the road against the favourite fighter in the opposite corner. So this will be a tough nut to crack, I think, because he's never been stopped himself, Macias.
Well, looks the part, doesn't he, Herrera, with those silver trunks, and he's got the feathers around the boots, and he came in looking the part as well, and he's silky smooth in there. And he wants to put on a show, although he took a left hand there, a sweeping left from Macias. If he carries his head that high, then he might well pay the price.
Well, that was a great shot indeed. And Macias there, just getting close. He knows you've got to close that gap down. And he landed a good left hook.
Herrera's 6th fight with Joe McNally. He's won the previous 5 by stoppage. Trains in Liverpool, based in Dubai. The majority of his fights have been here. Have been there rather, but he's fighting in Liverpool for the 2nd time tonight. And he took a big right hand there with his back to the ropes as well. Macias in the early stages, happy to stand there and trade with him.
Yes, indeed, he's closing that gap down. But I've just seen a couple of shots there that he's got to concentrate on here, Herrera. Left uppercut all day long. If you look at Macias coming forward, his feet come very, very square. He's so intent of landing his right hand to get close to his opponent. Then he'll walk onto that shot. So Herrera, left uppercut is the shot here for him. And Macias is just trying to close that gap down and look for that left hook on the inside.
I think the Herrera chin's okay. It's been tested a couple of times in this opening round. There's another one, left hand over the top that had the sweat cascading off the Cuban's head. Well, there's nothing subtle about what Macias wants to do. He wants to get his head down, swing punches and hope to land one that can take Herrera out. There's that uppercut, Richie, that you spoke about just as he came in. He's got that dipping style, so as you say, he's primed for it.
Yeah, but Herrera's just got to use his jab a little bit better here, Fletch. Got to work with that punch, measure the distance and gap, and then throw that left uppercut as Macias comes over that front foot. That's what he's got to do here, Herrera. Just keep popping that jab out. But some dangerous stuff from the Mexican here. We're on the same squads as well, so should be a good fight, that.
So out they come for the second. This one's scheduled for 10, the WBA Intercontinental lightweight title that Herrera is defending. I wonder in this second round if he might just try and keep this fight at range a little bit more. When he lets Macias get close to him, then there's real danger.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what will come from the corner. Joe McNally certainly knows his stuff. And straight away Herrera started to use that jab, keep his distance a little bit more. Macias very dangerous up close. So and again right hand from him, wings him in.
Well, the three best punches in this fight so far have all been detonated onto the chin of Yadier Herrera. Well, you mentioned Joe McNally. He's been quite bullish about him. He says he expects him to eventually take over the lightweight division. He said he's got absolutely everything and he's really excited to be working with him. But if he carries his head as high as he does, the higher he goes up in grade, the more susceptible he's going to be. I mean, the beauty of tonight is Macias isn't that big a puncher.
Well, he's been dragged in as well here, Fletch, Herrera, into a toe-to-toe battle, and Macias will certainly fancy his chances up close, and it becomes a 50-50 contest now. When they're winging away here with the shots, anything can happen, heads can clash. If you've got skills, you've got to use them, but Herrera is being dragged in.
It's a better combination on the inside from Herrera. As Richie mentions, Macias has lost all three times he's fought outside of Mexico, and he's under pressure here for the first time in the fight, and these are starting to get through. John Latham was close by, and now it's got all untied, even the referee's legs involved in that.
Well, that's giving Macias time to recover, because I'll tell you what, Fletch, he's just been hit with a couple of cracking shots. He's fought fire with fire there, Herrera, but he's the one that scored with the quality punches. And he's going for it now. I don't think he's recovered, Macias.
No, this has been a much better round from Herrera. Just over a minute to go. There's that left hand that's still dangerous from Macias, but all the heavy stuff at the moment coming from the Cuban. He stopped his last 8 opponents, Herrera, so don't be surprised if he gets this done inside the distance despite those minor scares early on. He's the one with the power in there.
Yeah, like I say, he's fought fire with fire, hasn't he, in this round, Herrera? But he's got through with better punches. Hard shots again going in.
Yeah, good shot
from
again.
both of them.
The right hand caught him, and again it just snapped his head back, and then the uppercut went in, and he's struggling to keep him off Macias now. Herrera looking for the finish. John Latham poised, and all of these punches that the Cuban's landing at the moment seem to be troubling the Mexican in there.
What a good bit of experience there for Macias, the way he went back, bobbing and weaving on the retreat to avoid the attack, and Herrera just couldn't nail him with a shot.
Just missed with a sweeping uppercut there, Herrera. Final 10 seconds of the round. And Macias is going to get back to his corner. He continues to unload, and he's very flat-footed now, Macias, but he's still swinging away, in all fairness to him. Let's have a look at some of this then, Richie. It was all action in the second round.
Yeah, what a round that was. Macias started the round quite well, but all of a sudden, it was Herrera that's found the target with some heavy punches, and it really had Macias in trouble here, Fletch. And Herrera just went for it, so he's fighting fire with fire, but he landed with the quality shots. But right towards the end of the round, you see Macias come back again, so absolute cracking contest. And Herrera landing the better punches in that round. Gets him on the ropes. There's a little short right hook. Went in from Herrera, and again, and Macias is in a bit of trouble.
I mean, what I would say, I mean, he took it well, Macias, but he can't get through too many rounds like that, can he? So Joe McNally doing the talking. He's from an esteemed boxing family in Cuba, Herrera. His granddad, Angel Herrera Vera, won 2 Olympic gold medals, one in Montreal and one in Moscow. And as an amateur, he beat the late great American Pernell Whitaker as well. Tremendous. So it runs in the family, doesn't it? That's quite lofty opposition that Grandad was able to beat. Now he's come out swinging again here in the third.
Yeah, I was actually looking at his granddad's Olympic record yesterday, and he actually beat a Russian in Moscow in 1980 in the final. So what a feat that is. So yeah, tremendous. His granddad, double Olympic champion.
There weren't many who did that.
No.
He must have won every second of every round and won it on a split, Rich.
Would have been tough, wouldn't it? But yeah, so that was some win, that was.
Well, this has been an enthralling fight to watch for 2 and a bit rounds. I'm a little bit surprised, you know, that Herrera's come out and allowed it to be fought like this, because he should be levels above the man that he's in with.
Well, I think that was the message sort of from Joe McNally in the corner. He says, you're an intelligent boxer, use your boxing skills. That's what he was saying to him. But he stood and traded here. And yes, he did land the better quality shots in that last round. But that style of boxing brings the opponent right into it. There you go. Who hasn't probably got the skills of Herrera. Nevertheless, he's dogged and determined, and he's landed some big shots of his own.
I think fighting like this, he's lucky that Macias isn't a more devastating puncher, but that's a really good left hand, and that stiffened the legs. It stopped him completely in his tracks from Herrera. The punch didn't travel very far, but boy, did it find the target.
Short, chopping shot, wasn't it, with that left hand? And the left uppercuts have been going in as well from Herrera. Yeah, and that's just... he's just feeling it a little bit here, Macias, I think. But a tough man indeed, and like I said, never been stopped yet. But Herrera really letting the punches go here, planting his feet, going for power. But I think Joe McNally would want him to set it up behind that jab first, do some quality work. Better punches from him again.
But he took one as well in there, Rich, as well, and it just made him take a backward step. Herrera, he's hard as nails, this Mexican. I mean, he's taking some fearsome shots, but he's not moving very far. 40 seconds to go in the third, and he's having to show his chin, and he's having to show his determination. And Herrera's landing some sickening blows in there.
Yeah, I mean, the left hook as well from Macias, tremendous shot. Always a good punch to throw against the southpaw, but sometimes he's not even looking at the target, heads down, and he's whipping it over the top. And Herrera is walking onto it.
So it looks as though Macias is going to get through another round. Yep, there's the bell.
But listen, let us get going. One, down, go. No, do the elbow, no lo haces. And I know you're strong, son, but you're better than this. Lo sabemos, pero eres mejor que eso. Fight when you want to fight, but you need to box. Entonces, cuando es necesario, hay que boxear. Let's show them you can box.
Welcome back to the M&S Bank Arena. As we look at some of the replays, and I can report that Joe McNally has been furious between rounds. He's read the riot act to Herrera, Richie, based on the way that he's fighting in there.
Yes, he basically says, you know, you're much better than this. Box. Those were, I think, his exact words.
And let me tell you, Richie took quite a few expletives out of what Joe McNally was actually saying between rounds. I mean, Herrera's come out and he's taken a leaf out of Nigel Benn's book in the early days. I'm going to stand here, I hit harder than you, and eventually you will go over.
Fought fire with fire, hasn't he? But that's just left him open a little bit here and there. And that's why probably Joe McNally's not happy with that. He knows he can break the opponent down with the boxing skills that he has with shots like that, so that's why he's not very happy in that corner. So he's landed some quality punches though, Fletch, in that style of boxing, but he's just brought his opponent right into it.
So this is round 4, scheduled for 10. He's moving a little bit more at the start of this round, Herrera, so maybe the McNally message has got through between rounds. Macias continues to come forward with his head down. I think the issue is if he's going to take over this division, I mean, you've got to think about the likes of Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Vasyl Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis. I mean, you're not just going to walk through the lightweights, you're going to have to do more than this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got a lot of skill and talent, Herrera, no question. Punches like that, and see, it's a totally different contest now in boxing in this style, maintaining that gap and moving away from his opponents and bringing him onto shots. I mean, some quality boxing now from Herrera. And there'll be a lot of people here who would much prefer them just to stand and trade, but the better boxing skills now, he's listening to his corner, and that's a good sign from a boxer.
I think we've got a split in the commentary box. You're very much the purist. I was enjoying the tear-up.
Yeah.
So minutes to go in the 4th, and this is a different aspect of the Herrera repertoire, and this is much more difficult now for Macias. Just managed to land that right hand as Herrera was on the move, but he's dominated here with slick movement behind the jab. Good work again.
Yeah, now the art, Fletch, is to bring him onto the shot, you see, to set the punch up, to set the left uppercut up, most certainly. Just bring him onto the shot, frustrate him with the jabs. It's much better boxing. There you go from Herrera.
Yeah, now he's started to showboat a little bit and wave the left hand around, and there are times now where Macias looks a little bit novice-y with the slick ability of the Cuban. I mean, if he decides to box like this, he can win the fight any way he wants to.
It's a totally different contest, isn't it? And to break the opponent down and bring him onto the heavier shots now, that would be the skill and the art of boxing, hitting and not getting hit. And Herrera's boxed very well in this round. It might not have been to everyone's cup of tea, but I think he's listened to his corner.
So there's the bell. They're still fuming. They're still fuming. They're gesticulating as you come back to the corner.
But don't move too much. Pero no te mueves demasiado. I don't want you to turn to the runner. Just don't. You need to just box him. Box him. Walk him onto the counter. Then step in with a second attack.
Haz una trampa para contragolpe y después una segunda fase, ¿vale?
Now listen to me, son.
Ahora escucha.
You're doing it round after round. Ronda por ronda por ronda. Always the right hand.
Welcome back to a big night of boxing in Liverpool. Let's have a look at Andrew Kane. There he is. He's getting himself ready. He's up next tonight. British, Commonwealth and WBC silver bantamweight titles on the line against Charlie Edwards, who's a former world champion of flyweight. Kane very popular here in Liverpool. He's a powerful man, and you'll see him next. I'm going to report from the Herrera corner again. Joe McNally said, listen, don't now become a runner. You've got to get the balance right between standing and trading and doing your boxing. Yeah. So he's still struggling in there, Herrera, to work out exactly what they want the game plan to be.
The coach isn't quite happy. I think he'll be happier in that last round, but he doesn't want him, like he said, turn him into a runner, get the balance right. So occasionally stand, throw the shots, then move off, wait for the opponent to come over the front foot again, and just repeat the process. And he's got the quality and variation in his punches. Lead left right uppercut there. You know, that's a hard shot to try and land. So he's got a lot of skill. There's the shot for me. That left uppercut is the one that I think will do the business for Herrera.
I mentioned the fact that he's stopped his last 8, Herrera, and he's got 7 stoppages inside 3 rounds. I think one of the things they were hoping for tonight is that they find a fighter that can take him a few rounds and give him some work in there. So certainly from that perspective, Jose Macias is ticking that box because he's still there and he's still asking questions here of Herrera halfway through round 5.
Yeah, definitely. Great opponent. Lovely right-hand lead there from Herrera. Just
cuffed Herrera around the cheek there with the left hand. Macias, it's the movement that bamboozles him. He can't deal with the speed of Herrera's feet. He's happy to stand there and have a slugfest because he doesn't want to go backwards, Macias.
the shot he's got to watch out for, Fletch, Herrera, is the left hook. He's been caught with it time and again. Occasionally when he's moving away now, he's then getting caught with that shot because his lead hand's a little bit too low and he's just taking his eye off the ball slightly as he's moving away from Macias. But that's quality, that is there.
Yeah, standing there with his back to the ropes, then picking off the Mexican as he comes in with really short, accurate punches. Herrera.
Just got to be a little bit more switched on when he's moving away, Herrera. Sometimes he's got that little bit of a laziness in his style where his hand's a little bit too low as he's moving away. He's still in punching range. You're in against a tough guy who's trying to get up close, so that's what you've got to be aware of.
Any concerns for you, Richie, with how high his chin is, how he carries his head? He seems to have ultimate belief in his reflexes to slip the punches, but that's not always been the case tonight.
I think he's got great skills, but yeah, this is a tough contest, and he'll learn from this, Fletch. You know, this Macias is probably pushing him harder than any other opponent, and it's not a perfect display for him because he's been caught time and again with the left hook.
Well, let's bring in Anthony Crolla, who's with us tonight, former world champion. I mean, it's fascinating, this one, Ant. I mean, he doesn't know which way to go about it. Stand and trade, get up and move. I mean, he's great to watch. Thanks, Anthony. So Anthony's given the last 4 to Herrera. He gave the first one to Macias, who did land some solid shots in that round. I agree with Ant. I mean, he's great to watch. I mean, even when he's dancing around, you don't know what's going to happen next.
No, it's very true.
It starts this round with a nice short right hand. Round 6, second half of the fight. We saw the gold standard in this division in Riyadh, didn't we, a few weeks back when we saw Shakur Stevenson in there against Josh Padley.
Yeah.
You see the hand speed of Herrera tonight, but then you look at how quick Stevenson's hands are, and they're the levels that people like him have to get to. That's what he aspires to be. And of course, there's Andy Cruz in this division as well, who's a very talented Cuban as well.
Me, he's one of the most exciting prospects out there. He's 5-0, isn't he, Andy Cruz? Olympic champion in 2020. And he's flying as a pro, and he's in this division as well, so Herrera might not be the best Cuban in the division.
Well, they're enjoying this again now, the crowd. He's still game, isn't he, Macias?
Yeah,
he's still got that left hook that he can throw.
Well, Herrera has decided to stand and trade a little bit more here, just hold his feet, and that's brought Macias into it again. There's that left hook that misses, but he's landed again with a couple of good shots with the left hand. Look at it, there's the guard, the lead hand of Herrera is just too low when he's in punching range, Fletch.
You're starting to sound like Joe McNally, because I'm watching him in the corner, and it's difficult for a trainer to read the riot act while the riot round's on. When he sees him get too carried away and stand too close, he's trying to do exactly that. A minute to go in the 6th. Certainly can't take your eyes off him. Took a good one on the way in there.
Yeah,
you see
he
the
did.
spray off the face of Herrera?
He's failing to use his jab and to measure the distance and the gap. That's what he's got to do, like he's doing there, and then you just adjust your feet and wait till the opponent then comes forward. Once you stop using that jab, the opponent's closer than what you think and catches him with the right hand. Plain and simple.
Good left hand from Herrera, but he's game as anything. Macias, hard as nails.
There's a little bit of a cut on Macias' eye. He just rubbed his left eye, Fletch. They have a little nick.
Only a few seconds until his corner can have a look at it. There's a right hand, and he's showboating here, Herrera, right in front of our commentary position. You can almost feel those shots going in. He remains elusive enough, though, Macias, to get himself out of there, and there is damage around the eye, Richie. That's a good spot.
Yeah.
There it is, and the blood's really starting to flow as well. Is that one on the eyelid as well?
Yeah, looks a nasty cut, that.
I want you to back him up with your trap. I get it to say, look, don't be walking him down. Look up at one single shot. I'm so used to that. You're getting caught with big counters, son. Okay? I want you to make him miss.
Now look at the action here. Yeah, a little bit of a head clash there. I think that's where the cut has come from. Oh. Is that where the cut has come from, Fletch, you think?
So round 7. What a tactics is Herrera going to adopt in this round?
Well, you hear Joe McNally in that corner, a little bit frustrated, so I want you to back him up with the jab, because like we spoke about earlier, he knows when he's using the jab, that's when he's measuring the distance and he can set up his work. So Joe McNally seeing what we're seeing. Like I say, the jab is the key to it, to set up the attacks and to make sure there's just that gap that he can work in then, and then bring Macias onto the shots through that space, basically.
Keeps pouring at the eye now, the Mexican. It's bleeding again already. It took a right hand in there as well from Herrera. John Latham, the referee, has indicated to both corners that the cut was caused by a punch, not by a clash of heads. Now that's just been confirmed for us. And he's aiming for that side of Macias' head now, Herrera. Looks a little bit more dispirited in this round, the Mexican.
He does. Whether he's feeling the pace a little bit now, Macias. But certainly, he's still dangerous. I think Herrera, senses something here. That's why he keeps coming forward now. Herrera wants to get to his man, but he's got to watch what he's doing. Macias is still dangerous.
He just wants to take a look at the eye here, John Latham. He's just called for the doctor. And so we'll see whether the doctor thinks that Jose Macias can carry on here. They're just asking whether there's any blood actually coming from the ear of Macias. That's what they're taking a look at, his ear rather than his eye.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good spotting by the referee, that is.
Yes.
If the blood's coming from the ear, there could be an injury that they can't see.
Yes.
So that was good refereeing there.
So the doctor's had a look and he's satisfied. So maybe the blood from the eye has made its way towards the ear. So he's okay for now, but Herrera quickly back out on the front foot again. As you say, Richie, that's really good refereeing by John Latham, just to check it.
Yeah, just to check it, most certainly. But Macias, you can see, still dangerous, but the way his movement's going back, probably feeling the pace a little bit, and I think Herrera notices that, but he's still got to watch what he's doing, Herrera, as he's coming forward. And again, there is blood from that ear, you know.
Yeah. Continues to hack away, Herrera, trying to chop down an oak tree.
This is when he's got to compose himself now.
Oh, he's just wobbling now. Starting to take its toll, and John Latham steps in and stops it. And I think it was in the back of the referee's mind the moment he called the doctor that he wasn't going to allow this to go on much longer. And when he saw the pressure starting to tell and those punches begin to land, I think he's done the sensible thing and stepped in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's good refereeing, to be quite honest. It's not been a great performance from this fella, but he's got the job done against a tough guy.
Well, I think he's enjoyed it, Rich.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the referee has jumped in. I'm not going to complain with that, because I think maybe the blood in the ear was still an issue on the referee's mind, and he was under a little bit of pressure there. And I'm not going to complain about the referee jumping in there.
Absolutely not. And in a situation like this, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So it's another stoppage win for Yadier Herrera, who moves on to 17-0, 15 of those wins via stoppage. But he did get some rounds under his belt tonight, and that's what his team wanted. They wanted to see him asked a few questions by a more stubborn opponent, and in fairness to Jose Macias, he gave a great account of himself in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's in his last 6 contests, he hasn't been past 4 rounds, so he probably needed some rounds tonight, and he certainly got them against a real tough guy. You know, and Joe McNally, they'll go back to the gym, he won't be that pleased with this performance. You heard it in the corner, he wasn't happy at all. He knows his boxer's a better man than this, but nevertheless, he's got the job done. And, you know, he's got the win.
Are we seeing the next Cuban superstar, or are we seeing the next great Cuban entertainer? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think he's definitely talented, he's got the skills, and he could go a long way in this game, but he's certainly got to tighten up here and there, because he was exposed tonight against a rugged sort of opponent that caught him, especially with the left hook. Joe McNally won't be, you know, pleased with that overall, but nevertheless, he's got the win. And he'll go marching on, but he is talented, Fletch, yes he is.
And I also think that people will enjoy watching him. He's very entertaining, whichever way he chooses to box. Maybe didn't get the tactics right tonight, but he's got the win, and that's what matters. And he's got the win inside the distance as well, and that can be confirmed for everybody by Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes 31 seconds of round number 7. Our referee in charge, John Latham, stops the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and still WBA Intercontinental Lightweight Champion, Yadier 1 billion Herrera.
So Yadier Herrera wins the contest. It's another stoppage win, and Becky, I think it's fair to say nobody inside this arena enjoyed the win more than he did.